Hey, welcome back to the channel. Subscribe to the channel. Make sure you hit that like button. Make sure you comment down below. Let me know where y'all from, who you a fan of. If you're new to the channel, hit that notification bell and subscribe. Let's get right into it, man. So that Boosie whole thing with Duke, hey, when Vlad asked him the whole rundown and Boosie came out and told the whole crazy story, people were like, damn, Boosie said too much. And the fact that the incident was fresh, like he should have never actually said that. That's what a lot of people were commenting and saying. And really the slip up was that how he basically threw the promoter and another homie under the bus. So the fact that he even brought their names up and said, yeah, the promoter was the first one to go over there, and he said that it's a guy or a rapper or somebody on the ground, he's got all his jewelry on. And so they even had those choice of words to talk about whether the jewelry is on him and whether things were missing or not. Those are the big questions. And then talking about the other guy. And Boosie even was going on and on talking about how he seen when the firefighter pulled up and the sirens and everything. So, but there's still a lot that's being hidden and a lot that still has to come out. So everybody's asking the question, like, how much does Boosie really know? Because he was right there in that same parking lot. He knew that Duke wasn't parked there because Duke was supposed to be following Boosie's driver's car and right behind him. And when Boosie and his driver went through the gates through that parking lot, the people Duke couldn't enter. They denied access. And so they already knew that Duke had to walk down all the way over there. So that's why they were still in that first part of the parking lot until, the whole situation with Duke went out. And then people couldn't even leave at that point because it was a whole fire truck coming in, the whole rescue. And they were trying to clear the whole air and the safety of the whole scene and area before they let anybody leave or come in. And so it was at that point where Boosie was watching everything happen, and that's how he was able to see everything. So basically, he was standing right there by his car with his people. And you know how people are where they hang out in the parking lot and they like stand next to their car, and maybe somebody's got the bottle, maybe they got the car running with the music playing, and somebody could be like taking some tables and chairs, maybe they packing up the trunk, they're packing up, maybe getting ready to go on a trip and leave the venue. So like everything that they usually bring with them backstage, they had to load it all into the trucks, load it all into the SUVs and the cars. All of Boosie's drivers and security, they were busy doing the labor, having to pick up the items and carry them out to the car, and playing Tetris with putting all the stuff in the back seat of the car. And Duke had to do the same thing. He had to go get all of his jewelry and his whole jewelry case and Louis Vuitton box, and he had to go take that out to his car. And he had the big truck too, but he wasn't in the same area. So it's like when you see, somebody, he was like carrying everything and all that. So he didn't have both of his hands open and steady, but Boosie was right there and he was having his security and his muscle do all the heavy lifting for him. So he got to just stand there and watch. And that's how he seen the whole situation go down. Whatever he said that he seen, that's how he saw it, because he was standing right there. He didn't have to really do none of the heavy lifting work. So his hands was free and he was able to just look around and conversate with people. And he was just talking to people and kind of looking around and see who was walking and who was doing that. It was then when Duke walked out that back door and he went to the left and he had to go towards his section. And, for the last time that some people seen him, he said that Duke looked over his shoulder one last time and he was shaking his head like, dang, that couldn't let me park there. Now he's got to carry. He was like, I got to carry all this stuff over there, man. That's crazy that they wouldn't let me park there. And he was shaking his head. He turned around and he looked at him one last time. And then once he went further down and it kind of got dim and the lights were kind of darker, that's when the people pulled up and everybody heard the commotion going on. And then, just like how Boosie was saying, the promoter ran down. He came out. He was like on the other side of a wall ready to get out that exit door. He was coming out with his stuff too, and he just happened to open the door as the commotion was going on, and he seen Duke fall down. So that's when he ran up to it, and basically he seen what he seen, and just based off of what Boosie's describing, that's how it could have happened. Where somebody, the promoter that he said was the first to run up, he must have heard the commotion or seen the dude on the ground, and that's when he ran up. So like that means that Boosie from a distance was really kind of just like looking at everything, watching what happened, and so like we don't really know if he actually seen the exact moments or not. And they haven't yet released the footage. The only pictures you see is that somebody in apartments across the street, they had the second floor and the third floor, and it looked like it was a third or fourth floor, but like they were filming off of their high rise down into the street where you could see next to that parking area where Duke's truck was, and you see how that they have it roped off now in the caution tape, and you still see Duke on the ground. And so that's what they released. That's like really the only type of picture or footage that you got or people have out there of the scene and stuff, but they don't pan to the left, they don't pan to the right. If they would have panned to the left a lot more, then you would have seen the area that Boosie's parking area was, and you would have seen the area where like all the other people were coming in and out that back exit entrance door to the backstage. This is where the entourage was going in and out of to get in, to watch the concert and be in the back where they have the Patron and all that and the Douce. And so basically that whole area, it all happened in that back part. And so it's still a lot of more details to come out because people looking for that footage. There's probably people who had like some type of dash cams parked, certain Teslas where if like even somebody drive by or walk by the car, it'll record and stuff like that. And so they're still trying to get all the dash cams together and see if they could see what had happened. And so at this point, somebody could have even bought the security footage, because that happens all the time where it's a third party company that owns the security footage. And so that CCTV from the parking garage, it might not be for a couple more months where they're not going to be able to release that, because they could have bought it and they got to sell it back because they know that it's it could be valuable and things like that. So that's how all that stuff works. But basically it's a whole ongoing situation, and so it's really a lot more like light being shed on it. And so every time that Boosie comes out and it's more and more being broken down, like you got to remember the situation with his cousins and everything like that too, because that has to play in with everything that people are talking about. So, and by the way that Boosie was like acting around him, and by the way that the whole team wasn't letting him come with their security, it was a clue to the Wolves that he's really not with them. And so if Boosie don't want Duke to be protected by his security, then he might not care as much as we thought about Duke. And so that just let the Wolves know that it's a green lighted person, because Boosie not even messing with them. Like, yeah, he's around them. He's letting him pay for the meal at the dinner table. But then again, he's not protecting him with the security on their way out. He's making them walk to his own car far away in the parking lot. And so those are the things that start to make the people wonder, like, what's really going on here? Because it's like, how could you take the man's money, but then, he's being generous, but then you turn around and it's every man for themselves outside, even though he's your guest and it's your city. Like, y'all got to understand that from wherever they went, from Baton Rouge, driving all the way down to Houston, everybody with the whole entourage came with them. And so it's like, hey, if Jay Prince was with them and his Boozy and Plies and everybody like that, Duke the jeweler should have been the fourth VIP member. And that's why it's like they should have had been, moving all together like that. But they singled it and separated him out because they basically didn't want him to be bigger than him. Like Boosie and them and all of them, they don't want to see people be bigger than them. They want to be the only rich guy. And so that's why there's a lot of greed, jealousy that plays a part in all of these things, man. Everything could be cool 1 minute with Duke and Boosie, and then next thing you know, it's like everything crumbled down and people start acting like, oh, they don't even know him and this and that. And so that's what's rubbing a lot of people the wrong way, because they've been saying that Duke and Boosie knew each other and that Boosie's been following Duke since 2016. So if you really add up all those years, that's 6 years. So Boosie known this man for 6 whole years and knew him enough to invite him to a whole concert, restaurant, dice game. At this point, you just have to continue to tune in back into the channel because there's gonna be more breaking news coming out. So go ahead and make sure you subscribe, hit that like button, comment down below. Let me know who you guys are rocking with, who you're a fan of. And basically, I'm gonna catch you on the next video and I'm gonna see you there.